In season 1 by now, right? Yeah, okay. So remember when we were first entering heaven with Charlie and Vagine? At the gates of heaven, we meet Saint Peter, who is, from what I understand, supposed to be the first ever pope. Now, given this premise, you would think this character might, be more elderly or have a grander design to being, you know, having that role of being the first pope to ever be a pope and be the gatekeeper of heaven. But no, when we see him, he's sorely disappointing. He's got the most default human appearance ever. He's got this dumb blonde hair that kind of just looks like the first hairstyle you've ever drawn as a child onto a boy character, and has a very unremarkable face. His outfit doesn't really even convey anything about being the first pope to me, or being a pope in general. It just appears vaguely religious with the cross symbol, and it's ridiculous how he's randomly got just a little bow tie. Why does every character in this show need a bow? It doesn't cleverly tie together all their designs, it just looks out of place. There's a certain attitude with all the twinks in this show, I'll say too, and yeah, they all act like gay stereotypes, which I'm sure we're all very well aware of at this point. Angel Dust, I think, is the biggest culprit of this. Of course, I do firmly believe that he should be a woman, but that's a topic for another video. As he is in the show, he's got one of the most textbook stereotypical depictions of a gay man that a straight person typically projects onto them. Constantly sexualizing every scenario, not shutting up about gay sex, and being overly effeminate. I know that this is explained character-wise with what happens to him and all that, but even when you explain it, you can't ignore the fact you're just writing him as a stereotype, in my opinion. Even his voice, the way that they have him talk, it just feels like mockery of a gay man, not like a actual appreciation or anything. Saint Peter is just like this little, like a little boy basically, like making all these little, oh, get dunked on, oh, burn, or like giggling when Luke tells Abel that his father didn't even like him, and it's so unbecoming of a pope. He doesn't have the energy of a significant religious figure. I'm gonna make a comparison here. Someone like the pope from Hunchback of Notre Dame, who is so like reserved and so on about the morals of Catholicism or Christianity. Sorry, I don't know the difference personally. Like I've said before, I am Hindu, I don't know. If we could have him be like a mature voice, you know, Adam, sure. Adam, I don't think is a character who needed to be like super uptight or anything. I think you could keep him being kind of a frat boy type. Why not? But Saint Peter being the gatekeeper, why can't he just be a bit more refined? I don't understand it. He can be gay, who cares? But he doesn't have to be another gay stereotype. And let's talk about a twink from Hell of a Boss, Visago. What's even the point of Visago? He's in this court scene, and of all the characters that are there when Blitz is having his trial, Visago is the only new character that's given a speaking role. Like, even out of the sins that are introduced, sloth and envy, he's the one who gets a voice. So we'd wonder, obviously, why does he get to talk? What's so big about this bird? Why does he earn the right to speak on such an important meeting? And if you want the quickest summary, it's so that he can be another sassy twink that the fans adore. I see right through these characters at this point. Visago is nothing more than a cute little gay boy for the fandom to point and say is their favorite. The first thing he does is call out Stolas in the trial and be like, why can't he give his side on everything? He doesn't really do anything other than just, oh, Stolas should have a voice, Stolas should. Stolas is another gay stereotype, but, cover that. And like, Visago just feels so utterly pointless. There's nothing plot impactful, there's no, like, further implications about who he is, what his role is in the family. He's Latino gay stereotype for Vivzy to play with. Another toy. Another one. Why do we need it? Stolas, fuck it. I hate Stolas too. I think Stolas has a really great voice. I don't know if I've said that in a video before. I think his voice is really good, but he is just he's the Angel Dust of Hell of a Boss, essentially. If Angel wasn't under contract with Val and was given a higher position of authority, I think he would be like Stolas, because he's just always harassing Blitz and just demanding, ooh, I want to be a bottom, ooh, I want this, ooh, it's he doesn't really get a more in-depth character. Occasionally he gets this thing of like, oh my god, I have to be a better father, oh my god, why am I being such a bad dad? But he doesn't really get anything else beyond that, because he's still just always so focused on being a twink, it feels like. Serpentius is a character who doesn't really have the same twinkish personality. Like, why is his waist so small? I'm gonna talk about just designs too, not only the twink personality problem. Everyone complains about how skinny the characters are. I'm gonna particularly complain about Serpentius too. Like, he's a snake. He can have that tube-shaped body. He can just, you don't have to give him a dip for his waist. He can just have an average body. He doesn't need to have a little corset on, you know? And I said this in my Overlord video, but Alistair is a radio demon. He doesn't need to be fat, but he could be like chubby. He could just have a bit more weight on him. He's not in front of the camera. He does not like cameras. He doesn't need to have that appeal, we'll say. He doesn't need to conform to the cameras. He can just be a guy. Husk, again, I complained about him already too, but where's his beer belly? He's an alcoholic, old man, a gambler. Where is the fluff? And genuinely, what's the point of him being so skinny? He can be a husk. He can be a husk and be fat. Husks are supposed to be big and fat. They can be skinny, they can be whatever. Husks just needs a bit more of a body. Fizzaroli is another disgusting display of a twink in this show. Goddamn joke of him excessively describing Asmo's, you know what I'm implying here. Just, why do we need it? Why do we have to have that long of him talking about that? And why does he need to be so infantilized? He's more of a toddler son to Asmodeus that needs to be taken care of, and the person that needs to be looked after, rather than, you know, a partner. I know complaining about the character designs is overdone but at this point, but yeah. Not only do I hate their twinkish designs, I just really hate how so many of these characters are just stereotypical gay man depictions. Hazbin feels very homophobic in its gay representation. I mean, it all takes place in hell, so it's already pretty bad. But I think that Vivzy has a problem with perpetuating these gay stereotypes, or just making these same ignorant queer jokes that, you know, straight people make to make fun of gays. But now she's like putting it into characters and trying to write it as a way of being like, this is representation, this is good, yeah. Biggest culprit, Angel. I'll say it again. He does not need to be like that. You can write him to be a better character, and in another video I will talk about why I think he should be a woman and not a twink boy, especially considering that it hasn't supposed to be a woman-focused show. But like I said, we'll go over that. But yeah, St. Peter to me is another pinnacle representation of the twink problem of this show, and how the characters are just so lacking, we'll say. Let me know what you guys think of this. If you agree with me, if I'm just ranting and being a hater, you know, like, comment, subscribe, share the video, and I'll see you next time. Love you guys. Please never turn into twinks.